Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's B2C Talk series. I'm Vigneshri, and along with me, we have Keetana, who will be your host for today's event. We're thrilled to have you join us today to hear from an extraordinary entrepreneur, Mehvish Ali. Mehvish has made a significant impact in the world of event management. She's known for her innovative ideas and her ability to create unforgettable experiences. Before we dive into Mavish's journey, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the valuable contributions of our esteemed faculty members. Please join me in welcoming our Dean, Dr. Tommy K. Kalarekal, Associate Dean, Dr. Karthigay Prakasam, Coordinator, Dr. Girish S., in their absence. We also extend a warm welcome to our Head of Department, Dr. Amalanathan, and Professor Rishikesh, who have been instrumental in organizing this event. Their dedication and hard work have made this event possible. Now, let's turn our attention to Mehvish Ali. A visionary in her field, Mehvish founded Fakira events at the young age of 20. Her passion for creating unique and memorable experiences has led her to work with prestigious clients like the Hinduja Group and renowned filmmaker Ramesh Sippy. Beyond her successful career, Mehvish is also a talented home chef and a lover of the arts. She's found a way to combine her passion for cooking and her entrepreneurial spirit through Fakira's kitchen. And when she's not busy planning events or creating delicious meals, you might find her exploring her love for skating and dance. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the remarkable Mehvish Ali. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, encouraging introduction. And also, I really want to thank Rishikesh sir for always supporting us alumni and making sure that we are still intact and in touch with our university. It just makes us feel so special and feel so acknowledged of everything that small or big that we have been achieving in our lives. Thank you so much, sir. Starting with my journey, I'll talk about myself. I am Mehvish. I come from a very small town called Dhanbad. It's a district in the state called Jharkhand. And over there, I have done my education in DPS Dhanbad Delhi Public School. Then I came so my first exposure to a metropolitan city, to a bigger, new life was Bangalore and is Christ University. I have a lot to give to Christ because before starting of anything about my entrepreneurship and my company, Christ has given me a lot. It has made me this person who I am today. How I speak, how I talk, how I am pretty little bit confident in my life is all because of how Christ University just made sure that you speak up, you talk, you participate, you figure out your passion, and everything that I've been doing in my life, I owe it to Christ University. So when how this journey of Fakira event started was during my final years. So I am a BCom honors student. Investment and finance was our core subjects. So I have been pretty okay and good with my studies, but my keen interest was always in organizing events. So this was something like I always used to take initiative and in doing things, in taking initiative and organizing small parties or friends or families or whatsoever. One fine day, I think I had just opened a page on Facebook with my company name, which I thought like, let's do it Fakira, and quite judged with the name, like what is this, what is that, and I just started off with that while people were sitting for placements and getting jobs in EY, KPMG, PwC, GS, and it goes on. I was still not convinced that I would want to do a desk job, which is fabulous. That is what I've studied. But my interest, something, I don't know, I had this vision in myself that I don't want to do that, once. And there was a lot of pressure from my family because I come from a family where my father is a retired deputy superintendent of police. So he would want, like, you study this much, you work here. So it has to be gone in a straight line. And while everybody was sitting for the placements, I just started with this page and I started with the word of mouth. I just started getting small events. I started with 1500, I think. Remember, my first event was 1500 and it was a kid's fifth birthday. That's how I started my journey of Akira. Eventually, after that, how in my family it was like you cannot stop studying. It's like you cannot take a break. For some reason, I think 7 years down the line, this was this notion that I think in India we still have this thing that you should not take breaks or you should not take a year to explore. And in other culture, like if you see like foreign countries, there is this sigma that okay, you can probably explore what you want to do and then come back and then restart. But we did not. I did not get that option, so I was still doing my post grads. So I was doing my postgrads in business administration and I was juggling with my startup. I started off with it. I used to get like really small events. I used to rush from Electronic City to different locations of Bangalore and figure out how to do, what to do, where to go. And being somebody who is not very fluent with South Indian language, it became a little bit of challenge for me to actually communicate with the vendors, figure out the vendors, and few challenges that I faced initially when I had started. I think like 3 years of my journey was like how I used to look, and maybe being a girl, if I am not wrong, I did face a little bit of that I used to look very small. So firstly, it was how would she be able to handle any project because she looks like this, she's small. So those were few other challenges that I faced. But having said all of that, I had faith in me. And 3 years down the line, I think I had touched big venues like Taj, JW, Le Meridian, um, and couple of them, like a lot of companies like Hinduja, like Vignesh mentioned, Hinduja. I got this opportunity of also going to Dubai and organizing an event at very early stage, like in I think 3 years down the line, I got this opportunity of doing that as well. So while I was trying to figure out how to expand this, I did not have much of my family support. That okay, you that they would want me to see as an event planner. So for me to figure out funds became a problem. I had worked like 2, 3 jobs at a time to figure out my own capital and invested in my company. So, like Vignesh said, that I had worked for this director of Sholay, Mr. Ramesh Sippy. He has his own institution, cinema institution. So I worked for him for a couple of years, and then my simultaneously I was doing my own startup as well because the challenge was like, how am I going to fund it? Who is going to have trust in me? And all of those questions. And meanwhile, while doing all that, I had also relocated to Mumbai to do my master's in event management. Like I said, like I did not get a chance to like take a year gap to figure out like what I wanted. So my parents were always like, you have to keep on studying, and which is good. Like knowledge never goes in wane. But yeah, and I started doing my MBA in event management from National Institute of Event Management in Mumbai. That also gave me a lot of exposure. I have been on sets of Femina, on a lot of award shows, film fair. I made sure I am every single big goddamn set where I could just learn. It's not like I used to get paid. I just wanted to learn at my utmost understanding because coming from a place where you have only seen on television that how this is made, how the lights, how the stage, how the structure, everything is done. When you actually get to, I feel privileged to have even gotten a chance to be on those big setups, to have had experienced and worked with some amazing production designers. So I could not like even think of not grasping those opportunities as it came to me at very early. Like I for sure, like I knew that the amount of, I call it josh, the amount of josh I have in me right now, it just needs to be utilized. And it's been like 7 years that I can literally call this my passion, that it has, one single day I am not excited to do what I am doing in my life right now. Moving from Bangalore to Mumbai, a very different culture, a very different environment. People are so competitive. And then I got into core into my industry, the entertainment industry. I was doing, now that I got into weddings, from 1500 that I started, I had reached 10 lakhs. I had reached 15 lakhs. I was I have seen my journey from literally here till here, and I want to make it here because it's still work in progress. It's always going to be work in progress. I also started doing set designing and art direction for Indian cinema 3 years back, 4 years back. And I had started working for setups and web shows and feature films to have more experience and more exposure in my own field. So whereas unlike my company, when I started, I used to think that it's only going to be corporate events or social events or weddings. Now my own experience for Kira events, when I put that on my resume, that this is my experience, these are the kind of setups and decor designs that I've created and done for the clients or pan India. I got this opportunity to work for Indian cinema, and that was commendable for me because it is just amazing how it worked out. Because people in the industry, in the movie industry, if I say, it's all like reference and how you say nepotism and all of those things, but coming from somewhere like, you have zero connection. It's all your caliber and your work experience that you get the job. I learned a lot, and I used to work straight like 16 hours. It has been a very hectic journey all the while. And then I would have my own projects. I would have to fly to another city, organize the weddings, talk to the clients, be on my toes. For years and years, I've been doing this. And finally, I have a sense of feeling that all those hardships have come to a certain sort of little bit of accomplishment, if I am not wrong. There have been a lot of hurdles, be it Bangalore, be it Mumbai, be it convincing my family. So it also comes to a point that when you don't have a 9 to 5 job, and when you are not doing what everybody is doing, it actually can become extremely challenging and mentally challenging as well. At that point of time, 7 years down the line, I did not understand. I just like kept doing. But now when I look back, I see that it had so many challenges. Like, my family did not support me. It was my friends who were supporting me. Okay, but I could see all my friends working and earning and making money and everything, while I was struggling and figuring out how to make money, how to have clientele, how to pitch, how to make myself look like a certain way that people can take me seriously, and everything. And now when I sit here and I'm being able to have this opportunity to interact and talk about my business, I feel like I did something right. I feel like all those hardships and everything that I've been doing and did in my life and left aside and took a risk and a big decision of not doing certain things in my life makes me so happy. And I would like to tell anybody who's just even listening or is able to talk to me is, passion can give you a lot of money, and it is a risk. It is a very big risk, but we have to take that take that risk. And while my journey started with small birthday parties, like I used to go to homes and put balloons, and I can still do that no matter if I am getting a 50 lakh project, or no matter how wherever I reach, because I'm not going to forget like from where I started. There have been numerous challenges. One of the challenges I would love to talk about is with Oracle in Bangalore. So my company was chosen as one of the vendors for one of the corporate events for Oracle in, I think, 2018. Yeah, when I was in Bangalore. And we were on call all the time. So they did not know like my age or how I look and everything. And I had a great pitch. I had a great contract, and everything was ready. And then they had called me for the meeting at their office in my field. I go there, and I could see how it just did not work out for me. And the reason being is because I had started and they did not have faith in me. So that was one, and they were probably right on their path, because when you just start, people would be like, how are you going to handle such a big event? It was a shocker for me also because I was so ready. I was like prepared with everything. I knew my vendor listing, I knew the show flow of the event, and all of those things were understood. I could talk about what was happening, but I did not get it. And a 50-year-old guy who had a lot of experience just got it. So that gave me a lot of strength. It That rejection gave me a lot of strength that yes, we have to have experience in this field because this is a service industry. You need to be working on yourself constantly, and that's what I did. Probably I kept working, I worked in the industry, movie industry. I worked with Indian cinema. I have worked with different artists. I have worked with Bollywood artists, like for example I have worked for Shilpa Shetty and different other actors. I've done decor at their houses. So somehow my passion made me reach these people. It's not like talking when I say about Bollywood or things. It's not about just them being actors and all stuff, but it just gives your portfolio a very good reach. So once you reach certain kind of people who are just famous and you're doing projects for them, it just becomes um, good marketing strategy for your business to just put their face because of course they are out there in the public all the time. Talking about the current scenario, it's been 7 years, I guess, of starting Fakira, and during the lockdown, it had taken a toll on me entirely because from Mumbai, I had to shift back to my hometown, which is in Jharkhand, and that was a drift in my life. And my family was like, "You need to come back because we need uh, safety and everything." And at that point of time, of course, the event industry could not do much. Live events weren't happening. In-person events couldn't happen. Weddings couldn't happen. Nothing could happen. And that's when my passion of cooking had started. And I started with this cloud kitchen called Fakira's Kitchen, and I just took the food license. I feel like I can cook, and my siblings supported me like you can cook and probably you can sell. And I that's how I started with the cloud kitchen, the sister company Fakira's Kitchen. I started selling food, and it's been 4 years of it being run uh, gracefully, and I've managed to hold events with catering. So my idea now became like, okay, now if I'm taking a wedding, for example, people who need food as well, and if I'm good at it, if I can hire better chefs, for sure I can get the wedding with catering as well. I got multiple projects like that, and that's how I started to expand my business somehow. Because just by doing events, there's so many aspects to events. Like there could be so many vendors that you would want to align in your own company. So I became a planner and I became a decorator in the same company, Fakira Events, and whereas I tried to put in catering service as well, which is for now it's going good for me. After a few years, I think after COVID 1 year of COVID passed away 2021, I had started that I need to learn more than what is in India because I have been at Femina, I have been at Filmfare, I have worked with good big production designers, I have worked for Aditya Birla, good niche clients I have worked for. Now I wanted to understand it globally, and that's how I started applying. And I currently I'm in Canada, Toronto, and I came to Canada in 2022 December. It's going to be almost 2 years. Coming here and leaving a place like India, a place like Mumbai, is a big risk on your career, and especially when you have your own firm, how it is going to be run, who is going to run, are the clients going to actually have faith even when you're gone? It became a big challenge. Over the past 2 years, I have tried to manage the same quality of work even if I'm not there. Yes, there have been clients that would not they would not be willing to take Fakira events because I am not there in person, and there have been clients who have had faith and they'd be like, yes, the work would be done. Seeing the kind of work I have, me and my team and my company has been doing. So sitting here, my brother is a part of it. So he has been of tremendous help over here. So how I've been managing events back in India and when I'm here is we have a 12-hour. I think it's six. If it's 6 p.m. over there, it's 8 a.m. or it's day and night difference. So I have not had my share of sleep. And while I came here, I had to figure out a job in my industry, which again was the biggest struggle because here in the first world countries, cost of living, expenses is extremely high as to how we have lived back in India. And to have a job is very important here. um, Everybody, I don't think so there was a single person who told me that you could find a job in your own field. um, but me being me, I had this idea of, okay, why not? Like, if you want to, you could. If you don't try, how will you know that something is there available in the market or no? 3 weeks down the line, while I was here, I figured out a job in my industry as a head designer for a top three South Asian Canadian wedding firm in Toronto. And I'm still a part of it, and I've done more than 200 weddings in Greater Toronto. So that is something that I just I'm just proud of myself because once you leave your country, you have literally no one to push you, to motivate you, to tell you how to find your ways. You have to find your way. You have to get up every morning, minus 20 degree, minus 10 degree, get up and figure out how you are going to make your life better. Lot of risks had been taken, my company being there, thinking of how, there should not be a moment that people should think that because I'm not here, that is not being run. I have worked a lot. I cannot put it in words, like how many sleepless nights and days, mornings, evenings I put in this to just make it work for me, so while I'm expanding, exploring elsewhere apart from India. These 2 years, I have had a explore. I've explored globally in my industry. I have understood how the first world countries work. But having said that, while I'm working for a wedding firm here as a head designer, I've realized this that Indian wedding is something that comes from India. South Asian wedding, South Asian community is something that we are core rooted from there. And these countries like US, Canada, or Singapore, you go any country, we have copied the ideation from India, and people are making money here a lot. While I hold meetings with a lot of like industrialists over here in Canada, I have figured out that they're so inspired by what's happening in India. And over these 2 years, I've just realized that I need, I always had this vision. I am taking my time. I want to explore more. Probably next would be US or Dubai or something else. But I have figured out that my company is going to be revamped. Probably 2025, 2026 is the plan. That everything that I've learned, like how to import, how to export from China, how to get bigger structures from elsewhere across the world, how these countries are functioning, to put it in my company. And there is no way that I don't see it becoming bigger in the coming years. It has taken a lot of challenge, of course, and to be here, to face the weather, to face the kind of people, to face the kind of, there is, of course, you're an Indian, you come abroad, you get a job, you're doing it. It's a race. It's a rat race. It's a rat race everywhere in the world. But being able to be, at least be part of this, I feel grateful. I feel you have to be motivated every day of your life. Yes, there are going to be lows, there are going to be highs, but something that kept me rooted is like, I'm not gonna forget my path. Like, I'm not going to forget my vision, I'm not going to forget where I have come from, and I'm not going to forget where I want to reach, no matter what I see. Now, there have been like companies and bigger companies who would just want me, like the current company that where I am in, they would not want to leave an employee like this. They would want somebody who has entrepreneurial experiences, who knows the industry, who knows India, who knows the South Asian community weddings, how it happens. They would not want to lose somebody like this. But then the firm decision that I have taken is that I am not going to pursue this for the longest, because I don't want to get driven away by the fact that I want to live here and have a broad life or something. I want to come back. I want to do my thing. I want to do Fakira. I want to explore everybody that I have learned so much in these 2 years, and learning is a process that keeps on happening. It just keeps going. You have to take multiple risks. You have to sacrifice a lot, sacrifice your sleep, sacrifice those Friday, Saturday nights couple of times, and get up and do your things, and just keep on going no matter what anybody has to say. That's the key. I feel like I have heard like just get back to finances, get back to accounts, get, I may not work. What is this name, Fakira? It's kind of funny. I don't know if you'll make it, but just believe in yourself. And those 5 people that they are in your life who are ready to push you and make you reach a certain level. Comes running a business is you have motivation, you have everything. Might as well, somebody has a lot of money and goodwill to put in, but to manage it, I think to manage any company is management skill is so important. Like, even if you're the smartest in your studies, and if you're not street smart, that's what I feel. It's not easy to run even a small business. You have to have a social media team. You have, and even if like eventually when you start, you cannot like hire a social media team, hire a marketing team, hire an accountancy. So everything that one person becomes your whole team. So you are your team. You have to do your marketing. You have to get up. You have to schedule everything. Like your day starts with social media, then marketing, then how is it going to? Who is your target audience? If your company is in the range of 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, who are those people you want to target? Is it the young kids? Is it the adults? Is it the single family, single child family? You have to keep on constantly reading, working, asking people, meeting people, and knowing how to grow your company. Because once you step in this world of business, you will see that there's so many fishes in the market. There's so many people who are doing the same thing. How are you one step ahead of them? It could become so challenging that at a point you'll be thinking that, okay, this person is probably doing better. Okay, this is has more clientele, has been more than me in this industry. Stop comparing right there, and that's what I have learned. I stopped comparing myself, because while I was starting, there were thousands of people already out there, but where I am right now, not everybody could be there right now. So we need to stop comparing ourselves. We have to find people who are more intelligent and more knowledgeable and more smarter than you, and collaborate with them. That's that's the funda. I think it's beautiful that we should not be thinking of, we start a company, it becomes, we are young blood, we think, okay, we start this and we know the best or something. No, there is someone out there who knows better, who is smarter, who could be more intelligent, who could have more sense of business background. Because I don't come from a business background. My mom is a financial advisor, my dad has been in police, my brother and sister are completely in different genres of life, so I don't belong from there. But I have always connected and tried to collaborate with people who are into this industry and who knows more than me for sure. Yeah, and that's I think a lot that I've spoken about my journey so far. It has been a roller coaster ride, but it has been a beautiful journey when I look back. When I think of it, like when I 10 years down the line, when I look back and I see that, even if not being in Forbes or not being in the magazine or not reaching somewhere, but I am so satisfied with the kind of life career choices that I made. At a point of time, I could not earn while people could earn a lot. But right now, I see people who want to get out of the 9 to 5 jobs and start something of what their passion allows, what they really want to do. And it's good to start early. It's really good. When I was 20, I'd started, and it has given me so much exposure, so much learning. It has just made me the person I am. It has taken me to places. It has given me an opportunity abroad, right here, sitting and trying, being able to afford the kind of living, or being trying to invest in my own company. Sitting here, I'm being able to invest in my own company and thinking of making it bigger. It has all been because I have followed my passion and my been motivated all this while. Yeah. Is there anything that you would want to hear from me? I would love to talk about experiences. There's so many things that you forget during this journey, and then just come across while we're having a conversation.
So thank you, Mehvish. It was been really interesting and quite insightful how a transition from a smaller city which you had come from, and then how you could make it big to what you're currently today. One thing which I was more curious than with the I asked this question more because there are a lot of students online. How did you stay focused? Because the general lifestyle of someone at Bangalore is over a weekend there are partying, or over a weekend or even weekdays they have so many other distractions which keeps them occupied. But where did you get that conviction that no, this is what I want to pursue, or is it that you had balanced both?
Um, so to be honest, initially when I started, and when I started seeing that on a Friday, on a Saturday night, people are working in corporate. It's like a Friday night, Saturday night. For event industry, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is business. So it was something that I have to be working on the weekends. And yes, I did try to balance because I have had a very good social life. And while growing up, I don't think so I missed on living my life while working as well. So I made sure that if I did not get uh, carried away by people partying at that some time. For some reason, I could just say no. I had this thing, no, I am not going to be a part of this while I am working and making money. So that was a kind of lifestyle I have had. I did try to balance it. I did not miss out on to a lot of things. But right now, when I see the transition from being undergrad to postgrad to MBA, working and saying no's, and multiple, trying to balance it out somehow, somewhat. Currently, where I am, uh, I have not been a social person from the past, if I say 2 years. I have stayed focused so much because this country has given me so many opportunities that I just don't want to lose right now. So I have learned the art of saying no, and the art of convincing myself that, listen, this is for a while. Your Friday nights and your Saturday nights are definitely going to come back to you. And I, from the past 2 years, I've just been working on all the weekends. All the majority of the weekends, day, night, I've put my heart and soul and trained my brain in a way that, okay, I have a vision, I need to achieve this. If I don't do it right now, I'm not gonna get it. Like, you're so replaceable in this world. No matter how talented you are, where you're coming from, you're so replaceable that if you're not there in the moment, you'll be gone. And I know this thing in my head, and that's why I have just trained myself. And yes, so like I have tried to balance it out somehow, somewhere in my life, in a very positive manner.
Right. Yes, Mehvish, I was also curious because you deal with people with different budgets, different culture, different lifestyles. So, is there anything that you do to understand your customer, and or what is your approach or in the creative process to design an event based on what the customer wants and make it memorable and stand out from the rest in the market? So how do you understand your customer, and how do you design, how do you strategize your events?
Okay. So every client has a very different approach to what they want. completely depending on their budget. For example, if somebody has a budget of 15 lakhs versus somebody who has a budget of 50 lakhs. So firstly, what I do is, of course, interact with the client, have like initial consultations, need be second consultations. We do that. Then I try to read and write everything what this client wants. Now, what happens sometimes is if it's a 50 lakh client, it's not about. So when I'm dealing with Indian clients versus when I'm dealing with Canadian clients, it's so different. When I'm dealing with Indian clients, now it's not just the target audience of Indian clients that I've been dealing with. I have to understand here as well. So it's so different in both the worlds that if one Indian client of 50 lakhs wants something, they want a lot of things. They want the world in them. Whereas if a client that I get here, they want less is more. They want heavy, big structures. I have been in touch with multiple design companies. I try to learn. I try to take up courses as well that I've taken certifications. And I try to, our industry is something that we have to keep on seeing what the trend is. So I've been up to date, like what the trend is, trying to understand what the client actually wants. If the client has a color palette in mind, has something like they have seen, they would just throw you ideas like this is the kind of flowers, hydrangeas you want, this is the kind of structure and white I want. I want less is more. I don't want a lot. I don't want too much, blinkiness. So that's how I try to read. I create a vision board for them with multiple designs that I think is going to align with the client. I show them the color palette. I show them the stage designs. If need be, we create a 3D rendering of the decor and everything from furniture to color palette to how the drapes are going to be, how the entire dimension of the hall or the lawn, how we can change it to. So I work on it, I create a vision board for them, and that's how then we move forward with the process of locking the client eventually.
Just one more before I invite students to ask more questions and try to understand you as an entrepreneur and also your venture. Um, Now, whether it's a wedding or any other event that you organize, there'll be a lot of wastages or wastage of resources. And today we are living in a time where every institution, every organization, every corporate is trying to incorporate sustainability and sustainable practices or even eco-friendly practices into their day-to-day businesses. Now, how do you incorporate sustainability and such eco-friendly practices into event planning? How do you ensure that there is a sustainable and an eco-friendly business model that grows along with your business that you have taken up?
Yes, sir. So that is one thing I am really keen into working on as well. I'm still working with my team and everything. So one thing that we have started, that at least our team, we make sure that we are not using something that's going to be harsh to the environment, and we are not going too much into. For example, if you talk about weddings, a lot of flowers that just gets wasted. A lot of natural flowers. So we are trying to get into um, a part of it where it's only artificial flowers that we are using, and not, because I've seen like tons and tons of flowers getting wasted, like every wedding, every event you see, that's so much wasted. So we are trying to get clients who are more keen into more into like paper, more into like craft, more into like handmade things that they want to put it into the decor. And there are clients who are actually willing to do that. There are clients who are very much aware of the environment, and they want to take up those kind of decor, those kind of like, if I can use metal, if I can use bigger structures, if I can use drapery and not actually like kill flowers and lot of all those things. And that is how the small steps that we are trying to take, even though it takes a part of your target audience, because people who want to spend more is would want to be having like all sorts of real flowers and everything which gets wasted. But then that's how we are trying to put it in our model.
Okay, thank you. Vigneshri and Kirtika, I would request you to continue and also encourage other students to ask questions if you have any. Over to you, Vigneshri and Kirtika.
Yes, sir. So, ma'am, we had a question for you.
Yeah.
So, we just wanted to know, like, you were part of the local market. You started your career here, and then you moved to global markets, right? So, how was the transition for you personally? And again, it's significant change, right, from global markets to local. How did you adapt to it? And was it something that you had to pick up because of which?
Yeah, I think it has been a very fun journey for me, because coming and dealing with Indian vendors, it's completely different. And if I talk about India, I have been working back in my hometown. I have worked in Mumbai. I have clients in Bangalore. So everywhere is actually different, and the approach is very different. We in Indian mentality, we have a thing of a lot of negotiation, be it with vendors, be it with clients. Like, like, in this much, no, no, give me that much, no, no, please, please, if we can do a law, this as well, this as well, add that as well, and not raising the cost of it. So that is how I've dealt with the Indian clientele, as well as the vendors who I have been dealing with. Whereas when I come to the first world countries, it's so easy. It's There's just like a set bracket. There is zero negotiation that the client, or the if I'm hiring somebody else, like an artist, it's just like cut to cut. That this is it. And also a lot with the payment structure, what I feel is, in India, in the industry, the payments have been something that is, you have to keep on following up. Like, okay, the wedding is done. Now it has to be paid maybe after a month or on the day, whatever is written on the policy of your contract. But then it somehow it does not happen. Over here, I've seen that 7 days prior the wedding, the entire amount is paid in full, which is commendable, which is something that they have so much trust in the company, that they are willing to pay everything in full, and that's how it is. They believe in something like this. They believe in making the payments prior. But in India, it has been a probably a big shift for me, seeing this kind of payment structure, or talking or negotiating or talking to the vendors out here globally versus back in India. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, we have another question coming up.
Hello, ma'am. Like, I have a question. Can you please elaborate about the initial funding? Because, like, when you started from the base, when you're a student, it would have been difficult to raise the initial funding. So, could you elaborate on it more?
Yeah, sure. So when I started my company, the model was not something like I had approached to golden investors, or I had somebody to invest in my company. I had started working, and that is how I started like doing multiple jobs in the industry, and I started putting my own money in my own company. So that is how I generated capital and try to make it bigger. And the kind of the any penny that I used to earn because of Fakira events, I used to invest that in the firm itself, and not like use it for my own, like if I want to buy something, if I want to travel something. No, that was completely separate. So that is how I tried to build my company through my own funding. To be honest, till date, I have not had an investor or somebody who had to invest in my company. And now that I have raised enough funds for myself, I think I can be able to make it bigger and better without going for funding as of now. But need be, if I want to like expand it bigger, I would be approaching to investors and good investors who can just actually be of help.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, I would like to add on another question, ma'am. So, how important has social media been a part of Fakira's growth?
Social media has actually been the major has played the major role in upskilling, upgrading the company, because nowadays everything, social media is a platform of making money. You know, be it Instagram. That time it was Facebook. Instagram was not that much popular at that point of time. So I had started, like I said, I started with Fakira with on a page on just a page on Facebook. So it plays a vital role. You have to be very consistent with posting and the trends and the kind of industry I am in, the wedding industry and entertainment industry. You have to be updated. You have to be posting, putting a lot of content, a lot of your work. Put yourself, if you're the face of your company, put yourself on your social media, talk about it. And yes, social media plays a very, very, very important role in this kind of industry. You have to be on it. Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. There's one coming up from Netra.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Netra.
So, after COVID-19, were there any strategies that you had to change in order to sustain in the business? Like major changes that you had bought in the business?
Yes, for sure. Good question. So after COVID, people realized that even during COVID, people just started realizing that it's not about making it a big show. People became more sustainable. People became more of like house decor, house weddings, intimate weddings, and that's how the culture started. Eventually, before that, it was all like, let's make it the biggest, the hype of in our family or something. But now people's mentality changed, the target audience changed, and that is how we just molded with the process. Like if the client is looking for something which is less is more, we are going to just provide that. Of course, with coming years after COVID, this was more like we would do intimate weddings. Like if you see like big celebrity weddings, also they have done it at home. They have not gone all out. But if you see few people, they still believe in this idea of making their wedding the biggest affair of their life. So eventually, we did amalgamate with the idea of intimate weddings and smaller functions with lesser budget and everything. We got into it, figured out for a year or two, and then the clients were still like there. We have both like balances. Like there are clients who would want everything. There are clients who would want very less. So that's how we tried to just amalgamate with the process of the change.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Are there more questions? If not, I would invite Vigneshri and Kirtana. They would continue this conversation for your information, Mehvish. They would be writing the case study on you. They would continue this conversation, collecting more details, whatever is needed to refine their case study. They'll be writing on Fakira.
Okay.
Thank
Sure.
you on my behalf for joining us this evening. For you, I know it's morning, early morning. Probably it's around 8:30 a.m.
It's going to be 9.
So Vigneshri and Kirtana, I would invite you, if you have any more questions, you may, or else you can conclude this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Vinesh.
Close that, close that.
Sorry, ma'am, there's some technical issue. Just allows a minute. We'll have Kirtana coming right up with a word of thanks.
I
Which
think
means you'll have to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Am I audible, ma'am?
yes.
Yes, very well.
So it was a great session, ma'am. Thank you for the great session. So, as we conclude to this event, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Mehvish Ali for sharing her inspiring journey with us today as part of B2C Talk series. Your experience from overcoming the challenges in the event management industry to creating impactful and memorable events have been very motivating to us, ma'am. It was an honor to have you with us, and your story will surely resonate with and inspire us as we embark on our professional journeys. We are truly thankful to Dr. Tomike Kallarakal, Associate Dean Dr. Karthike Prakasam, and our Program Coordinator Dr. Girish S. for their outstanding leadership and steadfast commitment to our institution. A special note of appreciation goes to our esteemed teaching faculty, our head of department, Dr. Amalanathan, and Professor Rishikesh. Your dedication, expertise, and tireless efforts have been fundamental to our achievements. We are profoundly grateful for your guidance and continuous inspiration, sir. Finally, I would like to thank my fellow mates for your enthusiastic participation and support. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. It was a great session.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much for having me. I am just grateful to Rishikesh sir that given us this platform to actually talk about our accomplishments all over these years.
Yeah, I would have like so. I would also like to add that our team has taken like we are inspired by a story and we have selected to write a case study about it. So we'll be reaching out to you sooner.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you once again, Mehvish. All the best for all your future ventures.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.